3 years ago, my life looked completely different. And it's not just because I changed cities, it also has to do with how I changed the way I operate. And that's the part that most people miss when they see a lot of people, especially moving down here to Miami. Your environment in and of itself will not change your life because your internal systems and the way that you operate determine what environments open up and are available to you and are compatible with you. If I would have just moved down here in the midst of all of my chaos in Philadelphia, things would have been a lot different. And to be clear, yes, environment matters, and environment design is in a big way what I'm all about, but it's not a silver bullet. It won't change your problems or fix all your issues with the snap of a finger. Many people choose to make a big move and redesign their space or chase something new for them, but they fall back into the same chaos and systems that they were in before. And what this tells us is if your operating system stays the same, you're just gonna rebuild the same life and issues in a different location. So before I moved down here to Miami, I was living at home in Philadelphia, working multiple jobs, basketball training business, I had a part-time retail job, I was trying to build my coaching business at that same time while managing real estate properties and doing actual construction and labor on these properties. My schedule was completely chaotic and I was always doing something. I was always busy, but I was never actually progressing. And that left me with really no margin, both financially, but even mentally, to even consider a move. And at one point, a little flood came along and the sewage lines backed up in some of our properties. And I spent a full week shoveling shit off of the floor, vacuuming off our properties, power washing, splattering everywhere. And I vividly remember in that moment, I had the most clear shift that I had had across all the other things that I was already doing. But where that led to is I needed to start valuing my time differently. I knew that I was capable of more, but also that my time was way more valuable than spending it doing those things that I was doing. And with that understanding, I had to make a very intentional effort to reduce all the chaos in my life. And that meant getting really clear on the priorities that I needed to set and where I needed to spend my time, which means saying no more often to certain things that were maybe previously expected of me that I just quite literally couldn't give any energy to. And as I began to simplify the commitments that I had in my life, going and training clients, building my online business, really figuring out how I wanted my day-to-day to be structured, getting to the gym, all of those things that I knew were the most important for me at the time. That allowed my mind to open up to the possibility of actually finally making a move. And when the opportunity presented itself to come down here and check out a few apartments with a potential roommate, it didn't feel like I was forcing anything. It felt like the obvious choice. Like I had to finally make the decision to explore this opportunity. And looking back, what I can see clearly is that my capacity to see myself in that type of environment appeared way before the actual opportunity to move down here did, and certainly before actually being here. Because Miami in and of itself was never even an actual goal for me until I got to the point where I mentally and physically felt like I was someone that belonged down here. And that just became the byproduct of that identity and those experiences. And obviously the amazing thing about Miami is that a lot of people similar to me, similar with my experiences, other very driven, ambitious people find themselves moving down here. So yes, of course, it reinforces all of those things and who I really am. But on the flip side, it also amplifies other people's identities. You know, if you're a drinker, partier, you're chaotic and all those things, and you make a move down to Miami, it will amplify those habits and those traits. You find the people that are most aligned with you. There are many different versions to any given city, specifically one like this. But if you're someone watching this that isn't ready to make a big move or anything like that, and you feel like you still want to be able to improve who you are, how you operate to the point where maybe a move feels obvious instead of forced, well, then there's 3 simple systems that I would encourage you to follow to make this progress. And the first is simply your time system. How do you protect your time? How do you waste your time? How are you creating more intention versus falling into chaos? There are many ways where you can do this through time blocking, time boxing, things of that nature, where you can really preemptively dictate how you're going to spend your time. And going along with that, the second system is your energy system. Of those things that you're doing, what is draining your energy? What brings you a ton of energy? What makes you feel overextended or beyond your capacity versus really hyper-focused and fulfilled? And then finally, the most important shift that you're going to have to make is within your identity system. Who is it that you believe that you are? What do you tolerate? What are you willing to say no to? When those systems start to change, your environment has to change. It has no choice. And that doesn't necessarily always mean a move to a different city, but it means maybe cleaning up your physical environment where you currently are, or all those things that only expand and amplify the way that you operate internally. And it is a two-way street. They work synergistically. Sometimes merely a relocation can help, especially when your current environment is actively destructive to you, but it really needs to be a reinforcement of who you are versus an escape from who you are. You need to be moving from alignment, meaning you've aligned with the version of yourself that you know you need to be, and therefore you find an environment that fits that. Not trying to escape a version of who you are and going to a new environment and running away from that, or else there's a greater tendency to fall back into those same habits. But again, if you want to apply some of these things without having to make the move, and you feel like that's within reach, then you just have to go through the process of simplifying your schedule, reducing the commitments that you've subjected yourself to. A big one is really tightening up any inputs, eliminating any excess noise that you're bringing in, whether that's through scrolling, social media, or anything else that's not really beneficial to you. By designing a more proactive schedule, more proactive week, and removing any friction from your life, you're going to be able to have a much greater cognitive capacity to take action on the things that really matter to you. Most people don't need a new city. And by far, there are way more people still in their hometowns or in their same general area than there are not. But what they do need is a cleaner internal operating system to be able to thrive in that same environment. So whether you're gearing up and you feel like a move is a must for you eventually and you want to make that jump, or you want to be able to thrive within your current environment, if you want help upgrading your internal operating system so that your environment, opportunities, and your life naturally level up, that's in a big way what I help my clients with inside the Clarity Code. So I want you to go ahead and fill out the type form in the link below. I'm offering 2 complimentary coaching sessions to every single person that fills out this link till the end of January. So I hope to see you on the other side. If this resonated, if any of this was valuable to you, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna be breaking down all things identity, clarity, and performance all year long, many more to come. And I hope to see you again soon. Have a good one. Peace.